this pretty cool. What to expect from this video. All right, so every video will begin kind of in the same way. All right, we will outline what we will be doing or what techniques will be covered in the video. So the first thing, of course, is we will have an explanation and a demonstration of the technique. So the first yellow belt technique is Japanese sword. So that is explained on a mannequin. All right, following the explanation, then there is the demonstration portion. In other words, we'll show you correctly how to stand, how to move your arm, all the things you need to do, and then we will, of course, practice that technique. All right, so it's typically 5 or 10 times on each side. Okay, the way the SURPASS system is built is that we start with basic techniques and work our way up, and we will continue to add on every week. So you don't do a technique week 1 and then forget about it. You will be doing that same technique with all the additional techniques added on to build a complete portfolio of techniques that you will be doing. All right, in addition, of course, there's also the fitness component. So for yellow belt, for example, we have bob and weave, push-ups, punching and kicking combinations, eye strikes, and stretching. These fitness components will also gradually increase as you go along. This helps build your stamina and your muscle memory. All right, so once we end our video, which is typically stretching is the very last thing that we do, you will be invited to join us for additional workouts, which simply means we will load up another video, maybe 1, 2, or 3 minutes, or perhaps a video from YouTube. We have a collection of ones that we really think are good and valuable. So all you need to do is go through the app to the link that's provided for you, take that link, paste it into the app, and now you're able to stream that video. If you have your own favorite videos, you can add those to the list, stream those as well, and continue to collect your data. All right, so that's how it is organized, and we hope that you benefit from SURPASS and MyFittelife. So again, I'm in my defensive position. No, I don't want to fight. So I see this movement towards me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shuffle in. Again, my hands are still in this position. I'm going to get my hand up and under his arm. Notice I'm in a good, solid defensive position. And then I'm going to strike into the head. So it can be a palm heel into the head, the jaw. It can be a hammer fist. It can be a hammer fist to the front of the face. It can be into the neck. Again, I want to have this initial push, strike, because then that's not the only thing I'm going to do. I'm going to follow up with a secondary strike. So Japanese sword, or I can put a strike into the midsection. After I strike, reverse. All right, Japanese sword A on the right side. All right, again, as you can see, I have a different version of the Power Punch Plus setup. I wanted to show you how you would use this at home. You know, the setup I have that I use sometimes for teaching purposes is a little easier, but I think it's important for you to see how this would work at your house. So as you can see, I have this set up. It's flush against the door, real easy to hook up. Just a couple of clips, hang it up, ready to go. Now this version here is set up more like a heavy bag. In other words, it's on the door. When you do set this up on a door, make sure that it's on the hinge side, because that allows the door frame to absorb the impact of the punch. But you can actually hit this pretty hard, okay? So this is again set up as a heavy bag. If you wanted to set up All right, Japanese sword version B. So again, we're gonna do upward block, except this time we're not gonna chop. We're gonna use that block to keep the person at bay, and boom, right in the solar plex. Ideal self-defense technique, particularly great for the street. And the reason I say that is because later on, when we get towards brown and black belt, we'll talk a little bit about some of the legalities about getting into a fight. Okay, it's not always clear cut as to, oh, I was just defending myself. No, that's not always as it is, okay? Someone bangs their head and they're unconscious, wind up in a hospital, you're going to have a problem. All right, so solar plex is an ideal strike because there's no vital organs, but it has the great ability to stop a fight dead in its tracks. And again, most people are not trained to get hit in that area. All right, so let me demonstrate for you again. So in this case, what we're going to do is an upward block and then right in the solar plex. So solar plex is right here where your ribs sort of spread out. There's a little well in that area. That's where the solar plex is. So for this demonstration, we're going to use the middle pad, which is the nice thing about the Power Punch Plus setup is that we do have 3 bags, and we obviously have one for the head, one for the body, and then later on we'll use one for kicking. Again, you can see that on the bottom there. So we're going to do an upward kick in that case. You can kick the middle one as well if you're doing mid-range kick, but for now let's concentrate on doing Japanese sword version B. All right, so I'm going to reset it. And again, I'll do 10 nice easy ones, and then we'll speed it up a bit. All right, so here we go. Upward block. All right, something I should have mentioned when doing this, blocking, okay, for an inside strike can be done actually a couple of different ways, but what you're looking to do ideally is to rotate your arm so that your forearm is what's taking the impact and your shoulder and arm protect your head, okay, here. There are blocks where it can be done this way, so the force might be absorbed that way, so with your hand towards the person, okay? I stay away from this one where it's kind of sideways because the bone is there, and if you get hit there, particularly if there's an object, that's going to hurt and could end the fight for you. So again, what we're trying to do is rotate that arm up a little bit. The advantage there is it can also be used to wrap, and we'll talk a bit about that later when we talk about trapping and other things. All right, so that was nice and easy. 10 on the right. Let's do 10 medium speed now. So here we go. Oh, let me reset, sorry. All right, so pretty good. It's a little bit easier accuracy-wise to hit something that's level. You'll notice that the numbers are a little bit better on this one because it's easier to hit something that's basically in line with you. When you're coming down or in, striking is a little bit more difficult. All right, so that's 10 medium. So we came in about 521. So let's see if we can beat that. A couple in the 600 range, so not too bad. All right, so let's try now with a little more oomph. All right, so here we go. All right, so 598, that was a little bit better. Most of the strikes were good. I had one wayward one there, I think number 9-ish. Again, accuracy counts. So combination of accuracy and force is what you're looking for. Okay, review of Japanese sword. Again, remember, critical parts, get your arm rotated, so you're taking the shot there and then chopping in. This hand is used, of course, to protect you, because as we said, this is sort of your defensive position triangle. Okay, all right. Second, B, Japanese sword B, rotate your arm again, and this time we're going to do a strike. Now again, in reality, this would all be kind of closed, so you can do strike, strike. There's a lot of things you can do, and if there's a weapon, you want to make sure you're using these to cover, especially with a weapon. If it's a long weapon like a bat, you want to protect here. With a knife, you need to do a little bit different, but we'll get to that in some of the upper belt techniques. All right, any questions? Shoot me an email at mike@myfittelife.com, or if you want to subscribe to our YouTube channel, it's on the MyFittelife, and please show us some love on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you. So that is a typical martial arts salutation. All right, if you are an elite or advanced member, you need to submit your data. Okay, it must be recorded previously on the Power Punch Plus. You need to submit all the techniques that you have done in yellow belt, along with the fitness requirements for that particular belt. And you'll notice as we move through to the other belts, you're adding more techniques, and you will be adding more fitness requirements. For my elite and advanced members, this is the bonus footage having to do with Japanese sword. Okay, so with knife and long weapons like a stick, we can utilize the same technique, except we need to make a few modifications. Okay. It's taught sometimes to do an upward block for a knife attack, but the problem with that is they leave out some very critical information. If I do this upward block and he has a knife, what's going to happen is he's going to slice down and cut my entire arm open. Okay, so how then do you do this block and still, get out of this in one piece? All right, so the key to this is you need to react quickly and get in deep underneath that arm. In other words, it's not at the wrist joint where you're going to block this, because then that knife is right here and it cuts you. You need to get up and under more where the elbow is to prevent that downward progression. And again, that's just the beginning of the technique. And again, moving is going to be happening. So this is not a fail-safe technique by any means. Okay, knives are very dangerous, even for training people, and the recommendation is always get out of there if you can. If you're forced to defend yourself, then you have to react quickly and decisively. So for this technique, you see that arm starting to come up, you're going to get in there really quick and neutralize that weapon. So I prefer a wrap. In other words, I come around the arm, okay, to keep that arm and knife trapped behind me. And then you go to town to dislodge that knife and subdue this person. So again, any strike, solar plex, groin, okay, jaw, eyes, whatever you need to do to get that knife under control. Now with a stick, it's a little bit different because there's some extension. So if you try to do this, you get a broken arm. So for a stick, you have really two options. Either you need to get in there before that arm makes forward motion. In other words, same thing, wrap, do the same kind of technique, or you need to let the stick pass you and then close the gap and control that arm. So into the face, again, I prefer not to use a fist to the face, so palm heel strike, it can be ridge hand strike, okay, into the groin, into the solar plex. Then you have wrist techniques. In other words, I take this hand, break that wrist, okay. Bonus footage. Bob and weave. So what we're going to do is bob, that's one, and then punch. 2 and 2, and punch. All right, so we'll try and do alternating punches. In other words, 1, 1, 2, 2. All right, so we'll do this as quickly as we can because this is part of our fitness portion. Okay, in the future, no explanations. We're just going to go right into it. All right, here we go. All right, there you have it. 50 roughly back and forth. Again, using your legs. And don't forget to breathe. we got in 60 strikes. Not bad. Again, force we're not that concerned about. Let's try on the other side. All right, so we'll reset this. Reset this, so we wound up with 60. And let's do another minute, this time with the finger flicks. You can use 2 hands or 1. All right, 65, again, pretty fast. Ten. 20. 30. 40. 50. All right, now. Stretching, there are many ways to approach this. This is not a yoga session, so we are focusing here mostly on trying to get a good overall stretch. I think stretching is highly underrated. It's probably one of the most important things I have done through my entire adult life that has prevented me from being injured. Being flexible is critically important, particularly as you get older. You know, I kid around, my goal is to be able to slip, fall, and get up without having to make a trip to the emergency room. So flexibility will allow me to do that. All right, so I'm going to walk through a little bit of what my stretches are. You can do as much of this or as little of this as you are inclined to do. A little later on, we will be talking about dynamic stretching, which is a little bit more ballistic, which is also important because the movements that we do are ballistic. But I think it's good to have a baseline of stretching. Again, you go at your own pace, do as much or as little as you like. I'm just going to show you what my stretching protocol is. And again, it's a good way to rest in between, particularly if you're doing any kind of resistance training by the bands or weightlifting, or you just need a break. Might as well just put that time to good use. And I've always found stretching to be that point in time when I need a rest. All right, the other thing about stretching, you should try and hold a position for at least 20 to 30 seconds. Statically, don't overextend. Give your muscles time to relax a little bit and really absorb, if you will, that stretch. All right, so again, I'm going to go through my particular regimen, and you do as much or little as you like. All right, so I always start. I move my feet out a little bit again, trying to hold about 20 seconds. Feet out a little more. Now I walk it out a little bit. Stretch my hamstrings, my adductors. cheat back in a little. All right. This is a good back stretch. Throw your leg over your own. Try to reach behind you. Again, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Stretch your neck out a little crunching going on today. Now reverse to the other side. I'll do a nice butterfly stretch. Again, 20, 30 seconds roughly. All right. Since again we do a lot of kicking and martial arts and a lot of lower body work, I want to get some stretch in my quads. Switch to the other side. All right. Again, hip flexibility is important. So do this. Get a nice stretch in here. I can stretch out my arms a bit. So I have a little issue with my shoulders. So this one becomes kind of a critical one for me. exercise. Again, some of these may look familiar from yoga if you do yoga. Good also for breathing. Get your breathing nice and calm. Enjoy the stretch, relax. All right, a couple more. All right. All right, there we have it. Some, again, basic stretches for your back, hamstring, shoulder, your neck. Okay, there are other stretches that you can add in. Occasionally I'll rotate through some other things, but those are my core basic ones that I do on a regular basis. All right. All right, after every session, I try to get a little bit more work in. So if you want, you can load one of our videos, punching, kicking, combination videos. We have 1 and 2 minute versions that you can just kind of tack on at the end, get a little bit more work in, okay, depending on what your day looks like. Again, high intensity interval training. That means moving quickly, getting your heart rate up for a shorter period of time. Great for burning fat. Has been shown that it is probably the most efficient way, better than running or even like hitting the heavy bag. Okay, that gets a little tiring on your hands. Running, of course, can get to be a problem with your knees. So again, which is why I started to train with the Power Punch Plus system, because it's convenient, it's at home, very little stress on my body. It's something I could do every day, and of course it's different, work on different aspects of my martial arts skills. So anyway, time for me to get a little work in. If you want to join me, look forward to seeing you.